Dana White just casually announces he's working with NASCAR on an all-electric series. And let's talk Trackhouse. Is Daniel Suarez off the hot seat? Has Zane Smith blown his one shot? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. There we go. Now that we're all feeling a little tingly, let's talk NASCAR. We'll start with this story. I don't have much to say here. I don't know much about the players involved, but this was all over my social media feed late last night, so let's discuss Dana White. I saw Bozy on X shared this clip from the Flagrant podcast, but Dana White, the head of the UFC, among many other things, said that he's working with NASCAR to create an all-electric racing series.
After 4th of July, I do 4th of July at my house in Maine. I'm flying to NASCAR, and we're doing a deal with NASCAR.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be the electric series for NASCAR.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
We're
cool.
working on that deal right now.
So
now again, I have to admit, I don't know much about Dana White, the UFC, Nitro Circus, Nitro Cross, or any of his projects, companies, leagues. But what I do know is that there's a Travis Pastrana connection. Travis Pastrana used to race full-time in NASCAR. He raced as recently as last year in the Daytona 500. I also know that last November, reporter Adam Stern reported that Dana White was meeting with NASCAR about some unknown project. So that clip I just shared with you isn't random. It's not just Dana White making up something out of thin air. Something is in the works. Is it a done deal? Can't say for sure. I like the idea of an all-electric racing series, in addition to the existing Truck, Xfinity, and Cup series. If one of Dana White's companies are involved, that would further separate this project from NASCAR, which may actually be a good thing. The NASCAR brand is powerful, but an all-electric racing series is not going to resonate with many of its fans. They're going to read the headline and start rioting in the comment section. That's how this works. But I do like the idea of an all-electric NASCAR series, again, in addition to what currently exists. And we know that NASCAR was planning on debuting an all-electric stock car this past February before weather interrupted the clash. The real-world automotive industry is kind of all over the place right now, but we know that every OEM is interested in alternative fuels, hybrid technology, electric technology. So it makes total business sense for NASCAR to get into that space ASAP. Give all these OEMs something that actually matters to them. This could be the push that gets Honda to finally fully commit to NASCAR. So I'm on board with that side of it. As for the Dana White part, I have no real opinion. I know very little about him. From what I understand, he can be somewhat divisive. I don't have a take. It is somewhat interesting to me that the France family, who knows how to develop and run their own racing series, would go to someone like Dana White to work on this project. But hey, if there's money, power, important partners involved, I guess it makes sense. That's all I've got for now. I'm waiting for more information to come out. But what's your initial reaction to this potential news, or at least to that clip I showed you at the beginning? Leave a comment down below. Changing the subject, we've discussed NASCAR free agency quite a bit the last few weeks. All 4 of Stewart-Haas's drivers are looking for new opportunities. Front Row Motorsports making big moves. Spire signing Michael McDowell. Let's talk about Trackhouse, because Trackhouse is in a very peculiar position. They have 4 potentially Cup-ready drivers, but only 2 spots to put them. Now, there are reports out there that Trackhouse will buy one of Stewart-Haas's charters, so let's assume they have 3 Cup Series spots for next year. That hasn't been made official yet, but even if that's true, the math for 3 still doesn't quite add up. Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Zane Smith, and Shane Van Gisbergen. Let's start with Ross Chastain. He's the only driver who's locked in for next year. He's won 2 races each of the past 2 seasons, finished second in the championship in 2022. He's got strong support from Busch Light, Kubota, Jockey, you name it. Ross Chastain will get one of those 3 spots. It's all but guaranteed. Daniel Suarez is the original Trackhouse driver. Picked up for the 2021 season after meandering through 2020 with Gaunt Brothers Racing, wondering if maybe his NASCAR career had already peaked. Suarez and Trackhouse hit their stride in 2022, winning a race, making the playoffs. Suarez went winless in 2023, missed the playoffs, but he's back in this year thanks to that close victory at Atlanta. However, since that win, Daniel Suarez has struggled. He has just one top 10 finish in the 13 races since. His average finish since then is 20.3. He's been so bad that he put out like an apology video on social media a couple weeks ago.
I don't compete and I don't work so hard every single day of the week to run 25th to 30th. That's not me.
Now, Trackhouse owner Justin Marks assured the media back at the beginning of the season that Daniel Suarez is their guy. He's not going anywhere. But he wouldn't really go into any specifics, and as of today, there is still no deal done between the two sides. Reporter Bob Pockrass asked Daniel Suarez this week if he expects to sign an extension with Trackhouse, and Daniel nodded, adding, quote, "Trackhouse has given me the opportunity to build the organization the way I think I should, especially the 99 team. I think Trackhouse is the place to be. I would not trade Trackhouse for any other team. Doesn't matter if it's Gibbs, Hendrick, whatever. I wouldn't trade it. The reason for that is how the entire organization believes in each other and how they give me the opportunity to grow the 99 team. Those are things I didn't have in the past. That, to me, can be the difference between being a good team and a great team. I'm not saying we're a great team yet, but we have the potential to be." Very interesting quote there. Interesting to hear Suarez talk so much about personnel. How much input does he really have? This offseason, crew chief Travis Mack was swapped out for Matt Swiderski. Was that a Daniel Suarez decision? A team decision? Has that worked out so far? Putting that aside, it does sound like the odds are good Daniel Suarez returns to the 99 car next season. But that doesn't mean Trackhouse won't have some very difficult decisions to make. We've covered Chastain, Suarez. Let's talk Zane Smith. Zane Smith was signed by Trackhouse and loaned out to Spire for his rookie season. But with Spire signing Michael McDowell for next season, Zane no longer has a seat over there. Trackhouse will likely need to bring him into the house, or they'll have to farm him out to some other team, maybe like a Colleague Racing. Again, referring to a Bob Pockrass report, he wrote this week that Zane Smith could be the odd man out at Trackhouse if they're unable to acquire a fourth charter. Fourth charter? We've only been talking about 3 at this point. Does that mean that Zane has been passed up by Shane Van Gisbergen? That SVG will go to that third seat? Whoa, that is a turn of events. We'll get to SVG in a moment. Zane Smith has had a terrible year. There's no other way to say it. He has been awful. The 71 car is dead last in owners' points this season. Behind both Rick Ware cars, behind both Colleague cars, it's been a struggle to say the least. And I am extremely confused. Zane Smith went to 3 straight championship fours in the Truck Series, winning the title in 2022. He's about to turn 25 years old, so it's not like he's super young, raw, inexperienced. He's been around. He's been to victory lane many times. Zane has to be better than 36th in owner points, right? Right? It just doesn't make sense. But with these recent rumblings that SVG may have passed him up on the ladder, if you will, has Zane Smith already blown his one Cup Series shot? Has he been so bad these last 4 months that his draft stock is in the toilet? I hope not, but shoot, Zane Smith's performance this year, or lack thereof, have put Trackhouse in a very difficult spot. So let's talk about that fourth and final guy, Shane Van Gisbergen. SVG has done pretty well in the Xfinity Series this year, but I don't think he's lighting the world on fire. He did just get his first win, a road course, Portland, but that was only his 3rd top 10 of the entire season. And if we look at his average finish at non-drafting ovals, and I'll be kind to him, I'll take Las Vegas out because he blew a motor. If we look at every other non-drafting oval this year, his average finish is 14.0. That's very good for someone who had little to no oval experience before this season, but it's not Cup Series good, at least not yet. But it may be good enough to get a full-time Cup opportunity next year. Trackhouse is going to have to choose between a young, I believe still very talented young racer who may need his confidence rebuilt somewhat, and a veteran racer who will likely run 25th in 25 out of 36 races next year, but at all the road courses and super speedways will be a contender for the win. Which would you choose? Man, obviously there's the money factor as well. Shane Van Gisbergen has Wendy's sponsorship. I'm not sure who else. Zane Smith, what does he bring to the table? That obviously plays a role as well. But man, even if Daniel Suarez is off the hot seat, which quite honestly, I'm not sure he should be, Trackhouse still has potentially some very difficult decisions to make. They could make things easier by buying 2 of Stewart Haas's charters and hoping that the next charter agreement doesn't limit teams to 3 charters apiece. But if Trackhouse caps out at 3, someone is going to lose out on this game of musical chairs. Who do you think that'll be? Down in the comment section below. What do you think Trackhouse's Cup Series lineup looks like next season? Ross is a lock. Daniel seems close to a new deal, but is it Shane? Zane? Ooh, I like that. Shane or Zane? Leave a comment down below. What do you think happens over there? That's all I've got for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more NASCAR content and commentary every single day, and a huge thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters. I will see you all again very, very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your week, folks. I'll catch you in the next episode.